Yes, in the last lecture we were discussing about the uh, torque slip characteristic of three-phase induction motor, and we come to the equation of torque at standstill. T is equal to this is torque. T is equal to K, some constant, S Et square R2 divided by R2 square plus S x2 bracket square. This is the torque equation, and from this torque equation we found that at small value of slip, torque is directly proportional to slip, and at when the load increases, the slip also get increases, and for some higher value of slip, torque is inversely proportional to the slip value. So because of this one, it is found that the torque is increasing at a small value of slip. See, this is the slip value. So at this point, the slip is equal to 0. Say slip is equal to 0 here. Then slip is gone increasing 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, and 1 value. So the torque is increasing. At some particular stage, the torque become maximum when R2 is equal to Sx2. Means the resistance, the reactance Sx2 reaches to the value is equal to the rotor resistance, the torque become maximum. And once the torque become maximum, it start decreasing, and at S is equal to 1, here S is equal to 1. When S is equal to 1, when the speed is equal to 0. So this is the speed. So speed is increasing, say 0.4 here, it is 0.6% or 60% speed, say 0.8, and this is the 1, or S speed is equal to synchronous speed. So this is the simple torque slip characteristic of three-phase induction motor, and this amount is nothing but the starting torque. This is the starting torque, and this is the working region. It is shown by the green line. Say this is the working region of three-phase induction motor. The torque, the slip value will not be equal to 0. Otherwise, the rotor speed become equal to the synchronous speed, and we come to know that the rotor never catches the synchronous speed. If it is catches, the torque becomes 0. So this is the reason at a small value of slip, say for example, 1500 RPM is the synchronous speed. 1500 RPM is synchronous speed. The rotor speed is 1480 RPM. So this is the 80 RPM over here. As the load increases, there is a slight change in the speeds, and the torque increases, and therefore the slip also get increases, isn't it? Now when it become maximum, after that it is gone decreasing. So this is the motoring mode. This region is a motoring mode, and in motoring mode, the slip value ranges from 0 to 1. 0 to 1. 1 at standstill. S is equal to 1. So torque T is equal to starting torque. Okay. So it means that it is the standstill position. And 0, it means that the torque is 0. The speed is equal to the synchronous speed, if suppose it is catches, isn't it? Now the second mode is when the slip value is increasing. Slip value is increasing, say S is equal to 1, 1.4, 1.6 to 1.6, and 1.8 is there, and this is 2 value. Now it is going to occur when the rotor start rotate in the opposite direction of that magnetic flux. See, one more thing which we have to remember. In the motoring mode, the direction of magnetic flux and the direction of rotation is same. See, this is the direction of rotation. See, this is the direction of rotation. This is the direction of magnetic flux. The flux is rotating at the synchronous speed. Rotor also rotate in the same direction as that of magnetic flux, and therefore the slip Ns upon Ns is equal to slip, and that slip is positive, isn't it? And it ranges from 0 to up to the 1 value or less than 1 value. So this is the motoring mode. Okay. Now, when the slip is more than 1, definitely it is going to occur only when the rotor rotate in opposite direction of magnetic flux. Say this is the direction of magnetic flux, which is rotated at synchronous speed, and rotor start rotating in the opposite direction. And it is happen only when any two phases of the three-phase induction motor get interchanged, and it is used for the stopping of motor, or it is called as a braking mode. So therefore, the second region is the braking mode, and in braking mode, the slip value is greater than 1, and it is equal to the up to the maximum value is equal to or less than it is equal to 2. So when the slip is 2, definitely synchronous speed minus of ns divided by ns is equal to 0. So here definitely the slip value is greater than 1. So the second mode of operation of three-phase induction motor is a braking mode. It is just similar to the mechanical braking, but many times we use the electrical braking to reduce the wear and tear, and it has a numerous advantage. Now it is not a topic to discuss just now, no doubt. It is in our syllabus. We will discuss. There are 3 types of braking. One is the rheostatic braking, regenerative braking, and one more braking is there. Okay. Now, second mode, if the speed of rotor is more than synchronous speed, but the direction of rotation of magnetic flux and direction of rotation is same. Here, the magnetic flux rotating in the same direction, and rotor also rotate in the same direction. But the speed of rotor is greater than the synchronous speed, and under such condition, the it is going to work as a generating mode, or it is called as a generator, induction generator. So this is the 3 region of operation of three-phase induction motor. One is the braking, second is the motoring mode, and third is the generating mode. But we will concentrate about the motoring mode only. We are considered only the motoring mode, and we are using three-phase induction motor only in the motoring mode, and some application like in electric traction, hoist, crane, definitely we will use the motor as a under braking mode condition. So this is the topic which we are in the last one. Okay. Now we will see the power stages in three-phase induction motor. So our new now topic is power stages. Power stage in three-phase induction motor. Now, induction motor is again we'll simply consider this is the stator of three-phase induction motor. This is the three-phase induction motor is there, and rotor is free to rotate. There is no electrical connection between stator winding and rotor winding. So it is connected with the three-phase supply. So when there is a three-phase supply, it is phase-to-phase voltage. So the input power is √3 VL cos theta is the electrical power, and output of the rotor is nothing but the mechanical power. So we will represent as a P out, or it is the shaft out. It is the shaft out. Okay. Now it is very quite simple to understand with the help of a block diagram. So when we are going from input side to the output side, whatever the losses, there are different type of losses are going to occur in case of three-phase induction motor, just similar to the transformer and say alternators are there. When the current flows through the windings made up of copper, it has some resistance. So there is a copper losses, which is a variable one, which is depend upon the load condition. As the load increases, the armature stator current increases, rotor current increases, and therefore definitely the copper losses get increases. So the copper losses are the function of load, hence it is called as a variable losses. Whereas the iron loss, which is going to take place in the stator winding when it is connected to the rated voltage, there is the iron losses which is depend upon the frequency, depend upon the volume of material used, quality, or say the iron materials, type of iron materials, and the maximum flux density. So depend upon this parameter, there is the iron losses are there. And in case of three-phase induction motor, for proper performance of three-phase induction motor, the applied voltage should be constant, and therefore we can say that applied voltage is constant, frequency is constant. Once the material is used, once the design criteria, the flux density we have decided, all the parameters are constant, so iron losses are constant. So simply one is the iron losses, iron loss, which is called as a constant loss, whereas the copper losses, Cu loss, this Cu loss is going to take place at stator and plus rotor. So this is called as a variable loss. It is depend upon the load condition. One more thing, in the iron losses are, we are considering only the stator iron losses. Since in the rotor circuit, the rotor frequency F is equal to S into F. Suppose the slip is equal to 4%, so 0.04 multiplied by 50 hertz. We found that the frequency of rotor circuit is only 2 hertz. So when the frequency is very small, negligible, very small, therefore the frequency is very small, and hence iron losses in the rotor circuit is negligible. No doubt there is a losses, but for our calculations, general calculation, the iron losses in the rotor circuit are assumed to be zero value. Okay, whereas the stator is a stationary, it is feeding with the constant voltage and constant frequency. So therefore, definitely there is a iron losses we have to consider in our calculation. Okay, so this is one is the iron loss, which is a constant one, which is going to take place in the stator. The copper losses, which is are going to take place, copper losses are going to take place in the stator winding as well as the rotor winding, and these losses are depend upon the load current, and therefore it is called as a variable loss. One more, as the as the three-phase induction motor is treated as a constant speed motor, because the speed is slightly varies 10 to 20 rpm, varies with respect to the load condition. So whatever the friction and whatever the losses due to the fan or windage losses are there. So one more losses, the third losses is the windage and frictional loss are there, and it is also treated as a constant. So these rotational losses and iron losses are constant, whereas the stator and rotor copper losses are the variable copper loss. Okay, so this is the some different category of losses take place in the three-phase induction motor. Now it is not necessary to discuss the iron loss is equal to what formulas are there and copper losses. Already these things has been considered in transformer and alternators, and all these things are okay. So now the input to the three-phase induction motor is an electrical input. So motor input is given to the stator winding. Motor is input is given to the stator winding, which is equal to √3 VL IL cos theta. And say this is the power is a P1. We will represent as a P1. Power input to the motor is P is equal to √3. So the first input to the motor is power input to the motor, or here we can call as a stator, and which is equal to √3 VL IL cos theta. √3 for the three-phase power, as the three-phase induction motor is there, line voltage, line current, and cos theta. Now, once the power is given to the stator, there is a stator iron losses are there, stator copper losses are there. So after subtracting the stator copper losses and iron losses from the total input to the motor, we get rotor input via air gap. So as there is no electrical connection between stator and rotor, whatever the power transferred is because of the electromagnetic and because of the magnetic effect. Therefore, this name is become an induction motor. So this is the stator Cu loss plus stator iron loss. and whereas the power is going to transmit from this one, it is the power input to rotor circuit, rotor via air gap. Air gap, isn't it? Say this is a P2, power input to the rotor circuit. Now the power input to the rotor circuit, there is a rotor copper losses. So here the rotor copper losses are there. Rotor copper loss plus rotor iron losses, but rotor iron losses are negligible small, so we treat as a zero value, and we get gross mechanical power developed by gross or total gross mechanical power developed by rotor. And we will indicate as a PL. So once the gross mechanical power developed, if you subtract the windage and frictional losses, finally we get the useful power output. It is nothing but the P out or motor output, or it may be shaft torque, shaft power, and shaft torque is there. So here, these are the losses, which is all these are the losses. And if you subtract these losses from the total electrical input, we get the total output. So from this power stage diagram, it is quite clear that someone start from the input of motor and subtract these value. Rotor input, we get the rotor input from the via air gap. Subtract the rotor copper loss, gross mechanical power output or gross mechanical power developed by the motor. And if you subtract the gross mechanical power, subtract the windage and frictional losses from the gross mechanical power developed by the rotor, finally the rotor output or the motor output, either it is in the watt or it may be the shaft torque in Newton meter. So when you start from the mechanical, but start from the electrical input. If suppose we know the motor rating, say for example, the motor rating is there is a 3-phase 415 volt, 50 hertz, 3.5 kilowatt induction motor. It means that P out is equal to 3.5 kilowatt. Whatever the nameplate output rating, it is always the output rating of the 3-phase induction motor or any type of motor. So someone, if suppose we know the output of the motor and we want to calculate the input of motor, just add these values, add the windage and frictional loss, we get gross mechanical power developed. In the gross mechanical power developed, calculate the copper losses and add into the gross mechanical power, we get the rotor input, and from the rotor input plus stator copper loss and iron losses, we get the electrical input to the induction motor. So by any either from input of motor, we may found the output of the motor, and similarly from output of the motor, by calculating the all losses, we can calculate the input of the 3-phase induction motor. So this is the power stage diagram. Whenever some numerical based on the calculation, based on the power losses or efficiency calculation, this diagram is very much necessary. Or whenever there is some type of numericals we want to calculate, you draw a rough block diagram, then and then it is possible to, and it become very easy to calculate the efficiency and losses in case of 3-phase induction. So it is very much important. Now we will try to develop some relation between the copper losses and slip and other gross mechanical power into the 3-phase induction. Okay. So very basic one is the torque and uh, say this is the torque developed by three-phase induction motor. So our general, we know that suppose this is the torque is there, T is the torque, and P is the power, and your N is the speed in RPS, revolution per minute. Torque is equal to P divided by twice pi n. So this is in Newton meter. And if n is in RPM, revolution per minute, torque is equal to, it is 9.55 into P divided by speed. So it is comes in Newton meter. This is the basic one already we have covered in the machine one for calculating the torque and output of the induction DC shunt motor, or maybe series or compound motors are there. Now let me consider here the TG. TG is the rotor input torque power developed. TG is due to the gross rotor output. TG is the gross torque developed by motor, and PM is the gross rotor output. TG is the gross torque, and TM is the rotor torque. Okay, so we will write as TG is equal to in term of rotor input, P2 divided by twice pi ns. So here it is the in term of rotor input, and Tm is equal to rotor output, it is a Pm divided by twice pi n, and it is in term of rotor output. Okay, so we want to calculate or some relation, we want to develop some relation. We know that stator input P1 is equal. What is the stator input? It is the stator output plus stator losses. So stator output plus stator losses. Stator losses are combination of stator copper loss plus iron loss. Now the stator output is transferred entirely with the inductively to the rotor circuit. Therefore, the rotor input is equal to rotor stator output. Okay, so we can write as rotor gross output, PM equals to PM is equal to rotor input minus rotor CO loss. For that purpose, just refer our power stage diagram. The rotor output is converted into the mechanical energy. The rotor output is converted into the mechanical energy and gives to rise the rotor gross torque TG, isn't it? So now we will consider here Tg multiplied by twice pi n. This is Tg multiplied by twice pi n is the rotor output, rotor gross output, rotor gross output. And if there were no copper losses, the rotor output is equal to the rotor input. So we can again write Tg into twice pi ns, where ns is the synchronous speed and n is the rotor speed. N is the rotor speed in RPS, and here it is synchronous speed in RPS. Okay, so again it is equal to the rotor input. Okay, so the difference of these two values, the difference of rotor output and rotor input, so it is called as a, therefore rotor Cu loss is equal to rotor input minus rotor gross output. So it is equal to Tg into twice pi ns minus Tg into twice pi n, which is equal to Tg into twice pi is common value and ns minus n. So it is the rotor Cu loss. Okay. So now if you find the ratio rotor Cu loss divided by rotor input. So rotor Cu loss is Tg twice pi n into ns minus n. And what is the rotor input? This is the rotor input. We will write as it is Tg into twice pi into ns. Into ns. So this get cancelled, twice pi Tg into twice pi, which is equal to ns minus n upon ns, and that is nothing but the slip. So simply rotor Cu loss divided by rotor input is equal to slip, or rotor Cu loss is equal to slip multiplied by rotor input. So it is a very important relation. This is very important relation for calculation of efficiency and losses in three-phase induction. Now similarly, if you consider that rotor gross output, rotor gross output is equal to, it is the rotor input minus rotor Cu loss. So we will write as rotor input minus rotor Cu loss is nothing but slip multiplied by rotor input. So we can found rotor gross output divided by rotor input is equal to rotor gross output is equal to rotor input. So this rotor input is a common one. So it's remaining 1 upon s. So this is a second relation for the very important. Next, we can calculate its opposite one, that is rotor CU loss. CU loss divided by rotor gross output is equal to S upon 1 minus S. So this is the third relation. We have started the first equation is rotor CU loss divided by rotor input is equal to slip. Only by remembering this S, this is S, or it is a slip one. Slip. So by remembering even these two formulas, this one and this one, these two relation, we can solve any type of numerical based on three-phase induction motor. So simply the denominator is rotor input, here also the rotor input. Rotor copper loss is equal to rotor input multiplied by slip. Definitely the copper losses is very small as compared to the input to any machine. So it is just multiplied by the slip. Slip value is very small. So this is the way to remember our relation. Rotor copper loss is equal to the rotor copper loss divided by rotor input, or rotor copper loss is equal to slip time rotor input, and rotor gross output is simple. Say for example, rotor copper loss we want to calculate, slip is equal to 4% and rotor input is 5 kilowatt. So what would be the value? Rotor CU loss? Rotor CU loss is equal to 0.04 multiplied by 5. So this is the value, isn't it? Second, gross output. Gross output, it is definitely it is more. So it is 1 minus slip multiplied by the rotor input. So it is 1 minus 0.04 multiplied by this one. So in this way, it is quite simple to calculate the efficiency and losses in case of three-phase induction motor.